All right, welcome to 5A classwork. So simplifying radical expressions. We're going to simplify 5x times the cube root of 108x to the 6th. So the 5x on the outside is your coefficient. Anything that comes outside of the cube root will be multiplied times the 5x. Now with the cube roots, we are really focused on perfect cubes. And you think, what's the biggest perfect cube that will divide out of 108? And 108, so I'm going to divide that. I'll choose the biggest number that I think it might be. So 108 divided by, and we'll do 64. No. 108 divided by 27. Yes. So it's 27 times 4, and then times x to the 6th. And we'll talk about that when we get there with the x. So the 5x is on the outside. The cube root of 27 is 3, so times 3. The cube root of x to the 6th. So the exponents, you're either looking at, you take the exponent and divide by the radical. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Or you could think you have 6 x's, and how many groups of 3 can you take out of 6? And that's 2, so x times x, which is x squared. And what's left is a cube root of 4. Now when you multiply or simplify, then we got to look at the multiplication. We have our constants, and we have our x terms here. So 5 times 3 is 15. And then x times x squared is going to be x to the 3rd, cube root of 4. And there's the final answer. I know I didn't run through it with the, I did everything, but I didn't write it in the right spots. All right, let's look at number 1. So square root, this is a square root, so we're looking up here. Biggest perfect square that will divide out of 27 is 9. 9 times 3, and the square root of 9 is 3, so that'll become 3 square root of 3. Number 2, cube root of 27, well, that is a perfect cube, then that's 3. Cube root of 128, biggest number that will divide out of 128 is 64. So that's 64 times 2. Cube root of 64 is 4, so this becomes 4 cube root of 2. All right, number 4, 343. I believe that is a... all right, 343 divided by 49 is 7. So we have 5 times 49 times 7 times v. Square root of 49 is 7. And we only have the 1v, so that cannot come out of the square root. It does not have a pair. So 5 times 7 is 35, square root of 7v. All right, moving on. Number 5, we have cube root. Cube root of 64 is a perfect cube, so that's 4. And then m to the 8th is not. We're going to break that up. Let me break it up. We have m to the 6th and m to this 2. So we have negative 8 on the outside. Cube root of 64 is 4. Cube root of m to the 6th is m squared. Now, you might not be accustomed to seeing it that way. You think you have 8 m's, and how many groups can you take out? Of 3 groups of 3 can you take out? Well, you can take out 2. So that's why there's 2 left on the outside, and then on the inside, we still have an m squared. There's, of the 2 groups of 3, that's 6. There's 8 total, so 8 minus 6 is 2, so there'll be 2 left over on the inside. So we have negative 8 times 4 is negative 32 m squared, square root of m squared. I'm going to jump to number 7. I'll go to number 8. Number 8, we have 7x on the outside. It's square root of 16. That is a perfect square. X squared is going to simplify out, and so is y to the 8th. So we have 7 times square root of 16 is 4. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of y to the 8th is y to the 4th. 7 times 4 is 28. X times x is x squared. Y to the 4th. All right, looking at the bottom here, what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. So the cube root of 80 is 16 and 5. The cube root of, no, not 16, 8. 8 and 10, my bad. 8 and 10. So we have negative 6 times x times y to the 6th. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of x to the 3rd is x. And cube root of y to the 16th, there's 5 groups that can come out, so that's y to the 5th. Ooh. Y to the 5th with a y left over inside. So it's going to be a 10 and a y left over. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. X times x is x squared. Y to the 6th times y to the 5th is going to be y to the 11th, square root of 10y. So we have a negative 12, x squared, y to the 11th, and then this should have been a 10y. And our last one, we have 3x to the 5th. It's a square root, and it's going to be 36 times 2, x to the 4th, y to the 20th. So you have 3 times 30 squared root of 36 is 6, times x to the 5th, times square root of x to the 4th is x squared. Square root of y to the 20th is y to the 10th. You can take the 20 divided by 2, the square root. And the only thing left over is the square root of 2. You have 6 times 3 is 18. X to the 5th times x to the 2nd. You can add those exponents to the 7th. Y to the 10th, square root of 2. So you have 18, x to the 7th, y to the 10th, and that's the square root of 2.